welcome back. It's Charlotte from At Charlotte's House. I just finished photographing this little space in our new house, and I thought I would give you a little impromptu tour, so let's take a look. This area of our new house is where we obviously eat meals. This is where all the kids' sort of supplies live. This is a real workhorse. And then behind me, this little nook, I believe, was intended to be sort of an eat-in dining area, but it's way too small for our family of 7 to ever use. So I've taken it over. It has a little bit of storage for the kitchen overflow, and it also is a nice kind of workstation. So this is all brand new. I've updated it, and I really love the way it turned out. In our old house, we had shelves that were right off of the eating area, and so we got used to having things like pens and pencils and paper, all those items really accessible so the kids could just grab them and help themselves. And we've had these IKEA shelves for a couple houses now. In our first house, I had them lying horizontally, and they were kind of toy storage, bench seats, that kind of thing. And then in our last house, I think one was in Oliver's room, one was up in my office, and so we brought them in, we turned them on their ends, and they are the perfect solution for all of these different items. I made sure to grab bins so all the little things would be hidden, but we have, you know, there's crayons in here. These are all their different snack bags. There's coloring books. This one is filled with glue and glue sticks. What else do we have? These are sort of watercolors. These are hair accessories. So all the little items that we don't really have storage for elsewhere, they get hidden in here, and this has been perfect. Up above these shelves, I have all of those bell jars, and believe it or not, those are filled with faux succulents, faux air plants, faux succulents. I really wanted to unpack these bell jars. I didn't want them to get buried in the garage because I use them for all sorts of holiday decorating, but I also didn't want them to feel super fussy up here on top of the shelves because you see this space all the time. So these faux air plants and succulents, I grabbed them at various craft stores. I am obsessed. I think they look amazing. I love how they turned out. And then above them, I have just minted prints, and take a look. This one is a photograph. I love minted. They have so many options. I think their photography is beautiful. They work with so many talented artists. The one in the middle is actually a drawing, and then I got another version of that book. And I like these because it's a little bit of a nod to the homework station in the room beyond. I chose not to have them custom framed with minted. I have had a lot of pieces custom framed, and I love the way it looks, but it definitely adds to the price point. So for this one, I just grabbed the prints alone, and then they happen to fit into those IKEA frames. And again, I love just the clean white lines. This space can get pretty crowded because of all the shelves, and so I didn't want anything too fussy up top, but I definitely wanted something decorative. So this is going to be our homework area, or it might be a work area for me and for Mark, and I'm crazy about it. First thing I should mention, usually there are piles of things on these desks, so it definitely does not look this clean and tidy normally. All of the furniture in this homework area is actually from IKEA. Now, typically I love to thrift furniture. I go to the Restore or Facebook Marketplace, but for a space like this, I really had specific ideas about what I wanted, and I wanted very clean lines. I didn't want anything that was too fussy. I also didn't want to have to make over any furniture. I just wanted it to be done. So I had one desk that I used in Philadelphia when I was setting up for the home show. 2 desks fit perfectly, so I grabbed another one. The IKEA file cabinets actually fit underneath the desk, which is perfect. And then I love these chairs. I've had one for years. I simply got another one. And again, it doesn't take up too much visual space. So all of this IKEA, it is the right look, the right price point, so you can go and get all of these today. This mural is the showstopper. It is removable, so we haven't done any permanent damage. I got this from Minted, and it's actually in the children's mural section. I loved it because it had sort of a nice poppy color. Obviously, I love the nod to anything city related, so the taxi was great, and this was really easy to put up, and it adds such a nice bit of impact to this small little space. I love that giant cork board. Obviously, I was trying to find ways to add a giant cork board that wouldn't just ruin the walls, so I certainly couldn't put the cork right onto the walls. What I ended up doing is I used spray adhesive and I adhered the cork to wooden underlayment. And then I'm using just these mirror clips to hook it in place. I wanted to finish the edges a little bit, so I did add some trim. I cut around the mirror clips when I was installing the trim because the clips weren't quite deep enough to fit the cork and the underlayment and the trim, and I don't think you can really tell unless you're looking super closely. I just use hot glue to put the pieces of trim around the cork board, and I love that. I love having an easy place for the kids to stick their most current artwork. I did have to screw into the wall, but I don't get too fussed about that because it is such an easy thing to spackle and paint right over, especially if you have the paint on hand so you know exactly what color you're dealing with. When we moved in, there was a hanging chandelier that was obviously meant to be over the table. That wouldn't work for us because we'd be running into it. So we took that out and then I replaced it with this fixture, which I am crazy about. I love it that it is not too big. It doesn't overwhelm the space, but it also is so chic and really, really cool, and it makes a nice little statement up there, so I'm crazy about that. These desks come with 4 drawers, and we've been able to use the drawers for items that used to be in our kitchen. So the drawer on the right, it's sort of our junk drawer. It has all those tools that I use kind of more often, and then the other drawers have desk supplies, batteries, things like that. So the last thing I'm going to show you is this piece that we added. Again, this is from IKEA. We needed something that would be high but not too deep, just to help us with sort of extra storage for glasses, salad bowls, things like that. We have a bunch of stuff in the garage, but there's definitely times when it's nice to have items like this just right on hand. So I styled it to be nice and pretty. I did bring some of my rainbow glasses in. And then underneath, I love that this piece had a cabinet. So again, I could hide casserole dishes, things like that that aren't necessarily very pretty. We've sort of tucked away, there's the dog's water bowl, but I screwed that file folder holder into the side of this. It's a nice little drop zone for paperwork that is not in the way. There's 5 pockets, so there's a space for each child, but it's still there and easily accessible. I was originally thinking that I might put some artwork on this part of the wall, but when I hung the mural, I realized that the mural alone was so gorgeous that I couldn't bear to cover it. And that's why those minted prints are actually in the other room, and I'm so happy about that. I think they look great in there. Thanks so much for watching. Next time you see this space, there will probably be piles of paper, but for now, it is clean, it is clear. I love the way this turned out, and I hope you did too. So leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.